kind of like right here. We're gonna read from like right here. Shalom, shalom. Hopefully, just waiting for my brothers to get in here. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, 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 shalom. You feel me? Just waiting for my Akiyam to get in here, man. Shalom, this day 26, man. Topic called "Do for Love." You know, just a little, just going into a little bit of the four definitions of love according to the Greek in the Bible. You know, we know that this is kind of different. You know what I'm saying? This is just something I just thought about. I dig the title, Khan. Yeah, I definitely the Most High put it on my spirit. Was definitely thinking about this topic. I know it's late. I really never tried to go this late, but Shabbat Shalom. I know today's a feast day across certain nations, certain congregation in Israel believe that today will be, you know what I'm saying, blowing of the trumpet. So, hey, just through the spirit, man, like I say, I know it's the Shabbat, and I know it's a feast day, and I know that everybody probably trying to relax and cool down, but yeah, I'm just trying to give my fam more time to get in here so we can hop on, you know what I'm saying? Shalom. Yeah, definitely trying to get the people on here, man. I know it's gonna be few of us, not always expecting a big crowd, man. The word gonna come out regardless, whether I'm preaching to the wind or whether, you know what I'm saying, the Most High said, where 2 or 3 gathered in my name, I am in the midst, you know what I'm saying? Matthew chapter 18, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna bring this thing out. Just trying to give my scribe brothers a little bit time to come in here. But hey, the show must go on regardless. Like I say, it's not gonna be a long lesson. I promise to you, it's not gonna be a long video. It's only long because I know that I kind of take my time a little bit to let brothers and sisters get in. The introduction be so long in my videos because I'm trying to give brothers and sisters a time to get tuned in, tap in, hear the word of the Most High. But all in all, you know what I'm saying, I'm just trying to go through precepts more so than, you know what I'm saying, talk. I'm going to explain, but I got to go through the precepts because there is a lot of them. However, they're fruitful. You know what I'm saying? But through the spirit of the Most High, like I said, we just trying to get this thing out. With the few in here, we gonna get the show on the road. Not gonna be before y'all too long. So, like it says in the topic, today is day 26 of 30. I know we've been kind of going at it for the last 26 days, but our praise first and foremost, our praises to the Most High God that, you know, these videos have been able to bless the nation in whatever shape, form, or fashion. You know, I know many topics brothers and sisters have heard before, but through the spirit of the Most High, we just trying to give our understanding on things, and we just glad that everybody is being able to tune in. Hopefully we can be a blessing, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, first and foremost, all praises to the Most High God through the name of his only begotten Son. Double honors to you brothers and sisters that's watching right now. Double honors to your household, double honors to your family, double honors to your camps, your leaders, you know what I'm saying? Double honors to the brothers that's pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth, on the highways and byways, speaking, proclaiming the name of the Most High God, trying to wake up the lost sheep, crying aloud, sparing not, doing it through your actions, doing it with humility though. So shalom to the mighty sisters in the truth that are holding it down for the men behind the scenes, you know, building each other up, edifying each other. Like I said, man, I'm big on doing love topics, doing humble topics because, you know what I'm saying, those are touchy subjects, and I'm a touchy guy. You feel me? So definitely shalom to all the family. Shalom to your children. Peace be unto your children. Pray for your children for great health. You know what I'm saying? I'm just praying for the nation. Strength for Israel, right? But this is day 26. I said it the third time. And I did do for love on day 26 because if y'all don't remember the little famous R&B group back in the day called Day 26, that what gave me the topic to do a love topic, right? But we just gonna get into the four topics of love real quick in the Bible. I know people might say there's more. Some people may say there's less, but you know what I'm saying? To my understanding, there's 4 topics in the Bible that speaks on love. And this is according to the Greek. So we got agape, which is unconditional, right? We got philia, which is, you know, saying Philadelphia. If anybody know the truth about Philadelphia, that's called the city of brotherly love, right? So philia is brotherly love, loving the neighbor, right? Storge, which is empathy, love for your family. And we got eros, which is romantic love, love for your spouse, significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. You know, we know the Most High not dealing with that, but that's the type of love that eros goes into. Because if you go look at the Greek word for eros, then you will see how that translates to today when people say erection, right? So that's where that word comes from. Erection comes from the word eros. So we get into the 4 types of love. The first topic of love we're going to get into is agape love, right? Unconditional love that we have for the Father, unconditional love that the Father has for us, right? So we're going to go to the book of Matthew chapter 22, verse 37. We're going to go to Matthew 22 and verse 37 real quick. 22:37, right? So this is the book of Matthew chapter 22 and verse 37, right? Let me make sure I got it right. All right. And it reads, Salakia. And it reads, well, let's start at verse 36, right? And this is we know that these are the Pharisees kind of putting Jesus on trial, asking him questions, right? And they said, Master, which is the great commandment in the law, right? Jesus said unto him, verse 37, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind, right? So verse 37, Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. Now we got to think about how we love God. You know what I'm saying? And people know that we say we love God through our actions. You know what I'm saying? We honor the Most High with our lips, but our heart is far from him. We often give God excuses to our love sometimes. So the topic do for love, we got to think about what it is that we do for love. What do we do for love from the Father, right? What does the Father do for us to show him he loves us? All right. Well, let's go define what love is according to the Most High God. Let's go to 1 John chapter 5 and 3, right? 1 John, sorry, y'all, I'm serving as my own scribe at the moment. Salakia, give me a second. I'm just trying to put it in the chat so brothers and sisters can write these precepts down, right? So this is 1 John chapter 5 and verse 3. Trying to bring it out. Give me 1 second. Right. All right. And it reads, For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous, right? So this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. This is what defines love for us to the Most High God. Love is not what we think in the world where we can just sin, ask for forgiveness, and say we love God. Oh, we love him. He knows our heart. Oh, we love him, you know what I'm saying? Because when I think about God, it makes me cry, right? Crying because you think about the Most High God is not saying you love the Most High God. No, the Most High God said you got to love me through your actions, right? Let's read 1 John 5 and 3 again. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. So when you go read Matthew 22 and 37, when Christ said, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, and all thy mind, you go to 1 John 5 and 3 to define what that love is. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous, right? We got to come out the doctrine of putting emotions with love if we're not putting no work behind it. You get what I'm saying? We can go to the 10 commandments, right? How do we show the Most High God love through and through? You know what I'm saying? Well, let's go to Exodus chapter 20 real quick. So Exodus chapter 20 real quick speaks on, you know what I'm saying, the commandments that the Most High God gave us in the wilderness after being in captivity in Egypt, right? And God spake all these words, saying, this is Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1. Let me put this in the chat real quick. We're going to start at verse 1. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1, right? So this is the book of Exodus chapter 20. We starting at verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Right? So that's first things first. We don't put anyone over the Most High God, right? And I'm going to precept that with Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 8. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 8. Just to show y'all why we should love the Lord God. I mean, we should have no other gods before me. We know that he's a jealous God. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to show you why this is important to know. Isaiah 42 and 8. Salakia, give me a second. I'm just trying to put it in the chat. Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 8, right? I am the Lord thy God, that is my name, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Right? Let's read that again. I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. So this is why he said in Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1, Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. This is why he said that, because he said he wouldn't give his glory to another. So this is how we begin to love God, right? We begin to show our love for the Most High God according to Matthew 22 and 39 and according to 1 John 5 and 3 by keeping his commandments. And we got to remember the very first commandment. He is the Lord thy God that brought us out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. We should have no other gods before him. That is the first commandment. And if you're not keeping the first commandment according to the Most High God, you don't love him. And how do you prove that you're not putting nobody above the Most High God? Well, you got to figure out how much time you spending with the Most High God on a day-to-day basis, right? We gotta understand that a lot of the things that we say out of our mouth, like the scriptures say, we honor the Most High God with our mouth, but our hearts are far from him. If we're not keeping the first commandment in Exodus 20, we're not loving God at all. I don't care if you say that you love the Most High God. You can honor the Most High with your lips, but your heart is far from him. All right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 9. Because people like to say, well, the Most High knows my heart. All right. Yeah, he knows your heart. This is why he said this in the book of Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 9. And let me put this in here real quick for the nation so y'all can have these precepts to come back and lean on. But this is Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 9. And it reads, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Verse 10, I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his doings. So the Most High God is searching the heart, and he's looking to see, what are you doing? So he can give you according to your work, according to your action. But in verse 9, he said that the heart is deceitful and above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? So we got to get out of the doctrine that the Most High God knows our heart. Those are the people who say they love God, but are not keeping the commandments according to 1 John 5 and 3. So when Christ said in Matthew 22 and 37, that we should love the Most High God with all our heart, all our soul, and all our mind, you go to 1 John 5 and 3 to define what the love of God is, keeping his commandments. The first thing we need to realize is that we should have no other gods before him, right? And we got to get out of the doctrine that the Lord knows our heart, because he just said that our heart is desperately wicked. He's looking at the heart to decide what he should reward us, right? But let's continue on. And this is just some more instances about how we didn't love the Most High God. The Most High God loved us so much. This is what he said. This is what he said right here. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1, right? He's speaking to Israel in this. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth, right? So the Most High God said, if we keep his commandments, he will set us on high above all nations of the earth, right? But did that happen? Did we really keep his commandments? And Salaki, I'm just putting that precept in the chat for the nation, you know what I'm saying? Just so y'all can have these precepts to refer back to. But And it shall come to pass, I'm going to read it again. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I commanded thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. So the Most High God said, if we will observe and do all his commandments, he will set us on high above all nations of the earth, right? But let's go down to verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Khan, that's me typing. Khan. You know what I'm saying? That these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Right? So we didn't keep the Most High God commandments, and this is why you go into a long list of curses that we shall go under, right? Verse 16, curse shalt thou be in the city, and curse shalt thou be in the field. All this happened because we didn't love the Most High God. Why? Because we didn't keep his commandments. We didn't have any wisdom and understanding. This is why in Hosea 4 and 6, he said, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Sirach 1 and 26 says, if thou desires wisdom, keep the commandments. But we didn't keep commandments. So this is why we were cursed. Because we didn't love the Lord thy God like Christ said do in Matthew chapter 22 and 37. But our love for the Most High God is unconditional, because even going through all this, our people still say we love the Most High God. You got people out here, the Most High God put us, matter of fact, let me continue on with the precept. Let me continue on with the precepts, right? Because it's going to explain my point. Let me go to Ezekiel chapter 39, starting at verse 23. The precepts that explain it all. I don't got to do too much rambling. I just want to get through the precepts so you brothers and sisters can be edified, right? This is Ezekiel chapter 39, starting at verse 23. All right. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity. This is displaying everything I said about how we didn't keep the Most High God commandments, right? And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword. So we all fell by the sword because we trespassed against the Most High God, right? According to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to show that we didn't love the Most High God with all our heart. We say we have agape love, which is unconditional love for the Father. And that's the Father's love for us, unconditional, right? Let's go to Amos chapter 3 and 2 real quick. Amos chapter 3 and verse 2. And it's important to know, because we got to understand about the true love of God. This is called do for love, right? Do for love is important because this is what we do for love. What we won't do for love. You try everything, but you don't give up. The Most High God tried everything with us, but he still hasn't given up on us. That's powerful, man. This is the book of Amos chapter 3 and verse 2, right? Matter of fact, let's start at verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities, right? So the Most High God punished us because we were the only family he knew throughout the whole earth. So he punished us for our iniquities, right? If you go back to Ezekiel, let's go right back to Ezekiel real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let's go right back to Ezekiel real quick. We gonna do call it precept, go back to the precept. This is Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 23. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity. Verse Amos 3 and 2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. This is the Most High God showing us that he loves us. How is him putting us in captivity showing us that he loves us, right? How is this? And we're going to get into that. But let's go to Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3 real quick. See, the Most High God, I'm going to show you how the Most High God loved us after this. All right. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3 real quick. 1 and 3. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel do not know, my people do not consider. A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord who brought us out of the land of Egypt, right? They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward, right? So this is showing that how wicked our nation was. We say we love God. He knows our hearts. Well, this is our heart proved everything. Our heart is the perfect description of Israel as a nation. I love the Most High God, but yet keep none of his commandments. And this is why he said that the heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it? This is why he said that he sent us into captivity. We are the only ones he known of all the families of the earth. That's why he punished us, right? Let's go to 2 Esdras 1:7 real quick. 2 Esdras chapter 1 and verse, we're going to read verse 7. I read this precept last night, but it's a powerful precept. All right. Am I not, matter of fact, let's start at verse 6. Yeah, let's start at verse 6. Because matter of fact, verse 5. Go thy way and shew my people their sinful deeds and their children their wickedness, which they have done against me, that they may tell their children's children, because the sins of their fathers are increased in them. For they have forgotten me and have offered unto strange gods. So we was breaking the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. He is the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, right? But we went after strange gods. We went a-whoring after others' gods. Breaking the first commandment. We didn't love the Most High God. We didn't have agape love for him, but he has agape love for us. I'm going to show you. This is verse 7. Am I not even he that brought them out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage? But they have provoked me unto wrath. What did Isaiah 1:3 say? We provoked the Most High Holy One unto anger, right? 2 Esdras 1:7. We provoked him unto wrath and despised his counsels and despised my counsels, right? So this is going to show how wicked of a nation Israel really is. We didn't love the Most High God. So when this topic says do for love, think about as a nation, what did we really do for the Most High God to love us? But how does he love us? He put us in captivity. He allowed us to go through slavery. He gave us into the hands of our enemies. Why did we get sold into the hands of our enemies? Because our iniquity. Go to Ezekiel 39. But let me show you how the Most High God loved us, right? We didn't love him, but this is how he loved us, right? Let's go to Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 6. Hebrews 12 and 6. Right? I'm trying to get through these points quickly so that way we can move on to the next love. Right? This is Hebrews chapter 12, and we're going to start at verse 6. All right? For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. So whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth. This is why we were put into captivity. This is why we were sold into our enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. Because he loved us. He chastened us. This is why we've been going through the things we're going through, because he has unconditional love for us. He has agape love for us. Where was our love at for the Father? We can be children of Israel. We can read a million precepts. We can do videos. We can do breakdowns. We can go on the highways and byways and preach the truth. We can give honor to our wife, our families, you know what I'm saying? But do we really love the Most High God? Because he loved us clearly, because he said, for whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he received. Verse 7, if ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chastens not? How can a father love his son if he doesn't correct him? You can't be a shepherd if you don't put your sheep in order, right? This is verse 8. But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then ye are bastards and not sons, right? So the Most High God said, look, if you weren't being chastised for what you were doing, you would be a bastard, because there is no father on the earth that is in his son's life that hasn't corrected him in any shape, form, or fashion. This is the Most High God showing us his agape love for us, right? Let's go to Malachi chapter 1 and verse 3. Malachi chapter 1 and verse 3, real quick. This is the book of Malachi chapter 1. Salakia. Got to be quick on the sword, I know. Right? This is Malachi chapter 1 and verse 3. Matter of fact, let's start at verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. To Israel by Malachi. Verse 2. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Where has you loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. You know what I'm saying? So the Most High God laid our twin brother, his heritage waste for the dragons. He loved us. We were the ones who transgressed against him, and yet he said he loved us. Let's precept that with Romans chapter 9 and 11. Romans 9 and 11. Because many people will say, well, he hated Esau for what Esau did. You know what I'm saying? But this is where you're going to start getting into that, well, God loves everybody thing, right? But you read them Malachi 1 and 3, and then you read them Romans 9 and 13, and they'll be like, well, that's because of what he did, right? But let's read verse 11 real quick. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. So this is the Most High. This is the Most High saying that he loves us, right? This is the Most High saying that I've called you to be loved by me unconditionally, right? He loved, matter of fact, let's go to Baruch 3 and 36. Baruch chapter 3 and verse 36 real quick. Now, I was messing up with Baruch yesterday, and I got it today. All praise to the Most High God. This is the book of Baruch chapter 3 and verse 36. He hath found out all the way of knowledge, and hath given it unto Jacob his servant, and to Israel his beloved. He found all the way of knowledge and given it to Jacob his servant, and Israel his beloved. So we're beloved by the Most High God unconditionally. After showing Ezekiel 39, after showing Amos 3 and 2, after showing Isaiah 1 and 3, after showing 2 Esdras 1, 6 and 7, all of those are precepts showing Israel's wickedness, going after other gods, breaking the commandments of the Most High God. Yet you go read Malachi 1 and 3, Hebrews 12 and 6, you go read Romans 9 and 11, and this is showing his love for us. You go read Baruch 3 and 36, precept Baruch 3 and 36 with Psalms 147 starting at verse 19. He showed his statutes on the judgments. You know what I'm saying? He showed his statutes unto Jacob, his judgments unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any other nation. This is the Most High God saying he set this up because his election, his calling, not of works, but of him that calleth. The Most High God loved us so much. Let's go to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. I'm going to show you how much the Most High God loved us. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. Right? And let's read this. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Most High God loved us so much, he said we're a special people unto himself, a people above all people upon the face of the earth. The Most High God loved us so much. Let's go to Isaiah 45 and 17. This is how much the Most High God loved us. Backsliding heifers, right? Breaking every commandment that he gave us. Isaiah chapter 45 and starting at verse 17. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. So when it goes to John 3 and 16, it's talking about for God so loved the world. Isaiah 45 and 17. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. Right? So this is the Most High God loving us so much that he said we should be saved with an everlasting salvation. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 31. Right? A world without end. And Jeremiah 31 goes right with Hebrews 8 and 8. The Most High God called us a royal people, a royal heritage. He loved us so much that we was transgressing against him, and he still had mercy on us, right? This is Jeremiah 31 and 31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break. although I was an husband unto them, said the Lord. The Most High God was a husband unto us, yet we still went against him. Verse 33, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, said the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. The Most High God loved us so much, he said that we're a royal priesthood, we're a special people unto himself above all people on the face of the earth. The Most High God loved us so much, he said that we should be saved with an everlasting salvation. He loved us so much, he said that he would make a new covenant with us, not according to the covenant that he made with our forefathers and foremothers after we broke it, even when he was being a husband unto us. This is how much the Most High God loved us, right? Let's go to Acts chapter 17 and verse 30. You know what I'm saying? This is Acts chapter 17 and verse 30. Grace didn't come in when Christ came in. Grace always been there. So don't be confused, right? This is Acts 17 and 30. And the times of this ignorance God winked at, but now commanded all men everywhere to repent, right? So this is the Most High God showing us that he winked at our wickedness, at our ignorance, Salakia. So this is the Most High God showing us how much he truly loved us, man. Unconditional agape love, that's in the form of the Most High God. Now let's get on to brotherly love, right? So all the precepts showing you that the Most High God loved us. Do for love. What did we do for love? Well, it was according to his election. So what did we really do? Well, I'm telling you what we got to do for love. For the love of the Most High God, we got to keep the commandments. 1 John 5 and 3. Remember that. Now let's go to brotherly love, right? We're going to get into brotherly love a little bit. So brotherly love, you know what I'm saying? Let's go back to Exodus 20. This is brotherly love, right? Let's go back to Exodus chapter 20. Ooh, right? So let's start at verse 13, right? We're going to run through them real quick. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Verse 17, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is in thy neighbor's, right? So we should not covet. All these commandments right here are commandments of brotherly love. Let's go to Matthew chapter 22 real quick, and let's go to verse 39. Matthew 22 and 39. Right? And it reads, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Verse 40. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets, right? So love thy neighbor as thou love thyself. How do you love your neighbor? Well, if you love your neighbor, you're not going to steal, you're not going to kill your neighbor. That's brotherly love, right? You're not going to commit adultery. Committing adultery is sleeping with a betrothed woman. A man sleeping with another man's wife, adultery. A woman sleeping, Salakia, a man sleeping with another man's wife, committing adultery, right? Thou shalt not steal. You're not going to steal from your brother. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy brother. You shall not covet anything that is your neighbor's, whether it be his wife, his car, his house. It don't matter. If it belongs to your neighbor, it's his. That's brotherly love. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. Right? Leviticus 19 and 17 real quick. Leviticus chapter 19 and 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Right? Verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. So if you love your neighbor, if you having brotherly love for your neighbor, like I said earlier in the video, the word Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying? Philia, brotherly love according to the Greek. Philadelphia derives from that word, which is why they call Philly the city of brotherly love. What we got going on in the world today is not brotherly love. We killing each other. We stealing from each other. We robbing each other. We glorify sleeping with another man's wife. And our women glorify being taken away from their husband by another man. It's folly and madness. We're not having brotherly love, right? Let's go to Matthew chapter 18 and verse 15. Because we're going to get some things out real quick. So we're going the wrong way. Matthew chapter 18 and verse 15. And it reads, moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. So if your brother did something to you, you go talk to him about it man to man, right? And if he understands what he did, then you've gained a brother. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two or more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. So if you get 2 or 3 people, right, and you get some witnesses to hear what the case of the matter, this is how every word get established. Just like in the court of law, that's why they have a grand jury, a jury to hear what's going on. Like Matthew 18 and 20 says, for where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, I am in the midst. Our people don't have love for one another. One of the main issues, we're not having brotherly love, which is why as a nation, we're not able to be successful. And our people, we already know, is prophesied that 2/3 shall be cut off and die. Right. So this is why you gotta shake off the dust from your hands and your feet when somebody not trying to hear the word of the Most High God. But to the ones that are in Israel, not having brotherly love according to each other, you know what I'm saying? You got to repent, first of all, because you're not having love for your neighbor. You're not having filial type of love, according to the Greek. Philadelphos. Well, not Philadelphos, because that was an Egyptian king, but Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? You got to have brotherly love. Let's go to James chapter 2. Salakia. Let's go to Luke 17 and 3. Luke chapter 17 and verse 3. Right? Take heed to yourselves. If thy brother trespass against thee, rebuke him. And if he repent, forgive him. And if he trespass against thee 7 times in a day, and 7 times in a day turn again to thee, saying, I repent, thou shalt forgive him. So this basically just said, if your brother trespass against you 7 times in a day, and each time after he did it, he said, I repent, you got to forgive him. Brotherly love, man. It's bigger than just thinking that you letting people get over on you. Remember, if you go to Romans chapter 12, you should not render to no man evil for evil, but you got to overcome evil with good. You're going to be judged by your actions. Your brother is not, but you forgive him anyway. You know what I'm saying? And people try to get into this, well, that's controlling thing. Of course, you might got to separate yourself from him, but you got to forgive the brother. I don't want to be around nobody that continuously steals from me either. But I'm going to forgive you and I'm going to move on. I don't have no lake of fire to put you in, no lake of fire to cast you in. I'm going to let the Most High God deal with you accordingly to your actions. But for my actions, I know I'm going to forgive you in my heart because you're my brother, but you're lost. You know what I'm saying? Brotherly love for one another. Let's go to Romans chapter 12 and verse 10. Romans chapter 12 and 10. Forgive, but never forget. Hey, look, I hope the Most High blot out my transgressions. Romans chapter 12, and we're going to go to verse 10 real quick. Salaki, I know we've been on here for a little minute, but bear with me, man. We just don't try to continue to bring these things out. This is the book of Romans chapter 12 and verse 10. And it reads, be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love, in honor preferring one another. You know what I'm saying? Verse 11, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer, distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. You know what I'm saying? This goes into what I was just saying. Bless them which persecute you, bless and curse not. You know what I'm saying? So go back to verse 9. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. Be kindly and affectionate to one another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one to another. We gotta have philia, brotherly love, Philadelphia, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Brotherly love towards one another. That's one of the, like Christ said, Matthew 22 and 37, Matthew 22 and 39. On those two hang all the commandments. You know what I'm saying? Loving thy neighbor as you love thyself. Brotherly love. That's loving your neighbor. You're not stealing from your brother. You're not killing your brother. Your brother might not understand. He may lack wisdom. You got to pray for him. Brothers are a necessity. And this goes the same thing. This is the same thing for the Aquas. Sisters are a necessity. Why is it important that we have brothers and sisters? Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 4. It's important that we have brothers and sisters in this truth, man. It's important that we have people continuously to build them up. After that, we're going to get Proverbs 27 and 17. The classic. This is Ecclesiastes chapter, dang, I forgot what I just called. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 4. Yeah, Ecclesiastes chapter 4, 4 and 9. And it reads, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. Right? Remember Matthew 18 and 20, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, I am in the midst. All right. Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and 9, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. Again, if 2 lie together, then they have heat, but how can one be warm alone? And if one prevail against him, 2 shall withstand him, and threefold cord is not quickly broken. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to show how important it is to have a brother in this thing, a sister in this thing. You know what I'm saying? Being patient, being affectionate, being kind. Remembering the commandments in Exodus 20. Not killing, not stealing, not coveting. You know what I'm saying? Not bearing false witness against your brother. Remembering all the commandments with brotherly love, you putting them together. This is how you showing love to your brother, right? It works both ways. If you don't have there's this saying in the world. The world is full of quote unquote good people. If you don't know one, be one. Be the brother or the sister that is dependent, right? Not slothful in business. You got to be the brother or the sister that people can rely on, come to. You might not have nobody else that you can cry on the shoulder. That means you got to be the strong brother or sister to let people come cry on your shoulder until it gets to a point where their wisdom and knowledge is on the same level as yours. When I'm referring to crying, I'm referring because wisdom increaseth sorrow. So as we get more wise in this walk, man, we're going to have a lot of sorrow. So you brothers and sisters that have a lot of wisdom, you know what I'm saying? If you feel like you have a lot of wisdom and you feel like the Most High has blessed you with it, be the brother or sister that somebody can come to and lean on. Because as they begin to learn, as they begin to grow, they will need a friend. This is why it's important to remember Ecclesiastes 4, chapter 9 through 12. Right? Let's go to Proverbs 27 and 17. The book of Proverbs, chapter 27 and 17, right? A classic. All right. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of a friend. Right? A man sharpeneth the countenance of a friend. As iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. This is why it's important that we have brotherly love for one another. We got to put our brothers in check too. We got to correct them, right? We got to rebuke our brothers if necessary, but we got to do it in love. We got to do it with affection. Do it with humility. All right. You love, charity above all things, right? And let's go to let's go to the next type of love, right? Let's go to storage, which is love for the family, father and mother, right? Do for love. I remember all these precepts that the brother is putting down in the chat, because all these things are what we're going to need to do for love, right? But by this, we know that we love the children of God when we love God and keep his commandments kind. Right before, for this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. It's not a hard thing to be a solid brother. You know what I'm saying? It's not a hard thing to be a solid aquaf. You got to be real in this thing to our brothers. Sometimes you got to correct them. Sometimes you got to keep it real with brothers and sisters in this thing. You got to do it out of love, though. Brotherly love, right? Remember all these precepts. Now, storage is the next form of love according to the Bible, according to the Greek, which is basically empathy, which is love for the family. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20 and verse 12 real quick. All right? Exodus 20 and 12. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. This is the book of Exodus chapter 20, and we start in verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Right? So we got to honor the father and the mother. That way the days which the Lord, in the days that the Most High give us, you know what I'm saying, that the days with the Most High God give us will be long. Right? Honor thy father and thy mother. Remember that. Let's go to the book of Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 2. Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 2. Matter of fact, we're going to start at verse 1. Ephesians chapter 6, and we're going to start at verse 1. Right? And I know I say right all the time. Oh, you know, old people always got that one thing they say. Ephesians chapter 6, and we starting at verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Right? So we have to remember that honor thy father and the mother is the first commandment with promise, because it says your days will be long if you do so. But if you don't, you know what I'm saying? You're literally giving yourself an opportunity to perish young. Honor the father and your mother, right? That is manifold too, because you got to honor your father and your mother according to the word, and you got to not forsake honor your father and your mother according to the word and wisdom. Don't forsake the law of thy mother, right? Let's go to Colossians 3 and 20. This is book of Colossians chapter 3, and we're going to start at verse 20. Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. So another precept talking about children, obey your parents. I have a brother that his parents are not, you know what I'm saying? You never, honest, we got to clear some things up real quick. We're not saying if you have parents that don't know this truth, don't want to hearken to the truth, or the truth is not for them because they're of another nation, that's not going and saying, hey, F you mom, F you dad, F this, that, and the third. You got to be ready to hate your parents, of course. You got to be ready. Why? Because if anything that they want you to do goes against what the Most High God tells us to do, you got to be ready to hate them. Hey, I got to rebuke you, mom. I got to rebuke you, dad. Didn't Christ rebuke Mary? You know what I'm saying? So we just got to remember that we got to honor our parents, whether they be in this truth or whether they not. My mom doesn't even hearken into the truth. But you know what? I still give respect unto her because she's the woman who the Most High used to bring me down to earth. When my father was alive, I still gave respect unto him. Now, I didn't know the truth then. And even if he was alive now, I would still give respect unto him. Because he's the man that the Most High used to call me by the house of my father. Right? So you got to honor your father and your mother. Verse 20. Obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. So we got to remember that we got to honor our father and our mother. I'm just giving you precepts on honoring your father and your mother. It is important that you do, right? And this is how the parents love us. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 3 and 11. Because honestly, if you love your father and your mother, you will honor them, right? And if our parents love us, they'll honor us too. And they'll do what's necessary for us to be better people, right? Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 11. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction, right? For whom the Lord loveth, he corrected, even as a father, the son in whom he delighted. So the father corrects in the son in whom he delighted. Like we said, the Lord corrects who he loved. We read that earlier in Hebrews 12. So this is Proverbs 3 and 11 and 12. Let's go to Proverbs 22 and 6. Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6. Right? And we're going to read. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So we got to train up our children, and that's what our parents do. Our parents are our first shepherds. They're the first people to correct us when we're wrong. They're the first people to show us love by way of correction. Spare the rod, you spoiled the child. You can't love your son and you don't correct him, right? Let's go to Proverbs 13:24. You can't have a child and say you love him and don't correct him, because that's foolishness. You just going to suffer sin upon your children. You just going to let them do what they want. You got to set your house in order. Be a ruler, women and men. This is Proverbs 13:24, right? He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. So if you spare your rod, you hate your son or your daughter. But if you chastise him, you love him betimes. We got to understand, we got to correct our children. We got to correct our families. Mothers, you got to be women in righteousness. We got too many women in the world being best friends with their children, letting their children do what they want, calling them out their name like they one of the friends, just letting them do as they will. We don't have a lot of men and women that's really setting their household in order. This is order. This is love. This is storage. This is empathy. Love for the mother, father, love for the family. All this love is connected. Because if you have agape love, then every type of love will follow behind it. That's the highest form of love, unconditional. That's what agape means. Unconditional love. Love of God. Love that we have for God. Love that God has for us. Unconditional love. We got to have it. Got to. Right? And I had let's go to the last form of love. So we showed you unconditional love, agape. We showed you brotherly love. We showed you storage. Salakia. Now let's go to eros, right? Like I said earlier in the video, eros derives, well, the word erection derives from eros. This is romantic love. So how do you love your spouse? How do you love your significant other? How do you show love to a brother or a sister that you're courting, right? Let's go to 1 Corinthians, Salakia. Let's go to Genesis 2:24, right? Matter of fact, let's start at 1 Peter 3. 1 Peter chapter 3. We got to have love for one another, man. Because if we don't, as a nation, we will never succeed. You know what I'm saying? This is 1 Peter chapter 3. If I can get it to, all right. It's 1 Peter chapter 3. All right, we're going to start at verse 1, right? Matter of fact, no, this is 2 Peter. Salakia, bear with me. This is 2 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 3 and starting at verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives, right? And if you go down to verse 7, you know what I'm saying? If you go down to verse 7, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor to the wife as unto the weaker vessel, as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So women have to be in subjection to their husbands, right? You know what I'm saying? And wives and husbands, you have to give honor to the wife according to knowledge and honor her as the weaker vessel. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 5 real quick. Ephesians chapter 5. We're going to do verse 20. Let's see. We're going to start at verse 20, verse 22. Verse 22. Matter of fact, verse 21. Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. Man and woman, submitting yourselves, right? Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Now, if you go to 1 Corinthians 11, it'll tell you about the order of a household. For the head of the woman is the man, and the head of man is Christ, and the head of Christ God, right? So, verse 22 again, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. Now, in these days, we don't see too many women wanting to be submissive. And people think the Bible is sexist because it tells a woman to submit. No, that's not sexist. That's saying let a woman let a man lead. Adam, the man was created first. You can go read about that in 1 Timothy. The man was created first. Go read about that in Genesis. The man was created first, right? The woman is supposed to be under rulership of the man, because the man is the leader. He's the provider. He's the protector. He's the strength. You take a father out of the household, it'll be a lot harder for the woman. And vice versa. You could take the woman out of the household, it'll be a lot harder for the man. This is why women and men need to dwell together in unity. Have that eros love for each other, that erection love, that romantic love. dwelling together like husbands and wives are supposed to, according to the Most High God, right? And this is verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of the water by the word. So the Most High God, we're getting this letter, this epistle telling us to love our women as Christ loved the church. Husbands, you can't out here be wanting a submissive woman and you're not a godly man, right? Let me get a precept on that. Let me get Sirach 37 and 12. You can't want a submissive woman and not be a godly man to submit to. You have to be a man worth submitting to. And a woman will submit naturally to a man that is a real man. We got too many little boys that call themselves members of the Most High God, of the body of the Most High God, but having a childish mindset. Go to 1 Corinthians 13. When I was a child, I thought as a child, I spake as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. We got to be humble enough as men to know that we got to love our wives just like we love ourselves. It's not about you the man, what you say go. No, you got to be compassionate with your woman. You got to work things out with her. You got to talk to her. You got to lead her in righteousness. You got to build with her. Y'all are starting a family, right? So this is Sirach 37 and 12. Let's read. But be continually with the godly man, whom knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow thee if thou shalt miscarry, right? So women have to dwell continually with the godly man. All right? Gotta love each other, right? Now let's go to Luke 14 and 26 real quick. So we went through the 4 types of love. We broke it down. We went through precepts, and I hope that you brothers and sisters were taking notes. And if not, that's cool. It'll always be in the video will always be posted, right? Let's go to Luke 14 and 26 real quick. All right. And let's read this. 14 and 26. If any man come to me and hate not his father and his mother and his wife and his children and his brethren and his sisters, yea, and his own life, he cannot be my disciple. This is Christ speaking. So we went through all the 4 types of love, but there's a time you got to be ready to hate according to this truth. Why? Matthew 12 and 50 real quick. And we're going to end it on this, right?